Good evening everybody and welcome to round 4 of the THRacing Tourenwagenmeisterschaft 2025 here at the Wellington street circuit. The cars have been shipped around the world for the first of 2 street circuits on the calendar. A quick recap from round 3 at the Nürburgring 2 weeks ago. Happy Coyote was flying in his Ford Sierra RS500 and took the win ahead of championship rival Mark Oros in the Simrona 190E. Reigning champion Jaroslav Cerny rounded out the podium in his BMW M3, followed by Kuba Palubicki, with Adam Serelek in the Holden rounding out the top 5, 20 seconds off the lead. So, the championship standings heading into this round after dropped scores. Happy Coyote leads on 77 points in the 727 Sierra RS500. Kuba Palubicki is second on 71 points. Wellington in the Alpha is third on 70. Mark Oros leads Simrona car. He is on 68. Attila Diner, again in an Alfa Romeo, he is on 66 in 5th place. The rest of the top 10 is Adam Serelek on 64, Jaroslav Cerny on 62, Ayrton Titos on 53, Bobby Vakinov again on 53, as well as Adam Keefe. In the Teams Championship, Sideheart Motorsports retook the lead with 141 points, but Jolly Club remains in striking distance at 136. Simrona Racing Team 3 holds third at 121, but Ahashi Motorsports on 115 points is hot on their heels. Linda Rennsport completes the top 5 at 104 points. As we see the Sideheart Commodore get very sideways into turn 1. Let's hop on board with him for a lap. So, after the hairpin, we've got a chicane. As once again we see the rev gauge go all the way back round to 0 on this Holden, really revving it out. And then a very hard braking zone through another chicane. This is the Town Hall corner. Gets it stopped nicely, a little bit of rotation on the rear axle there too. Then again, it's hard on the power on the exit, trying not to swing out too wide. He stays to the middle of the track. There's a nasty bump on the outside heading into Schaefer Street. Now it's just flicking the car about, turning it on the rear axle. Nice and tidy. Hold second gear for the long hairpin onto Toop Walk. Next, another chicane. This is the Barnet Street chicane. A really quick left-right flick with the corner tightening on exit, trying not to get into that wall on the left-hand side. Then it's a little dab of the brakes with a double apex heading over the Dunlop Bridge, flicking it to the left, back down for a run onto the start-finish line. A lap on board then with Adam Serelek, currently fastest in warm-up. Just gone quicker with a 126.78. It's now hard on the brakes. Down for turn 1. So then we see Happy Coyote. He's in the Sierra. Let's get a look at that. We'll see the turbo lag, having to go down into first gear out of the chicanes just to keep the turbo spooled. Very tricky car, the Sierra around here. The 190E is expected to be the best car around here, but unfortunately they have a very small turnout this week. Only 4 Mercedes on the grid, so by no means is their Teams Championship going to be in strong stead. Happy Coyote sticking to the left hand side as he comes over to the right. As you can see, there's the bump on the braking zone, right where you want to brake. It shuts the car up in the air as we see Adam Serelek there facing the wrong way in his Holden. Really turning the car, just a little bit of the dab of the brakes, down to first gear again to build up the boost. He's got the 190E filling up his rear view mirrors, but he's got just enough power in a straight line to get ahead, really flicking it through, having to fight the car on opposite lock. Down to third again, a lot of rear end, turning the car on the axle. And another double apex as they fly down to the main straight now. If possible, anybody in chat who could run over audio levels with me would be perfect. Believe we should be good. So there we see Jaroslav Cerny, he's coming out. 9th place at the moment in warm-up. the BMW M3. Again, should be rather strong around here. A lot of heavy braking zones that the BMW and the Mercedes can take advantage of with their ABS systems. Thank you very much. We shall roll with this for the time being. I may drop the cars down slightly. Again, a very tight, twisty section here. So we see the Mercedes still trying to get past Happy Coyote. Can he get the power down on exit? Remember, this is still warm-up here. Mercedes is still trying. Get the undercut out the corner, and Happy Coyote's dropped it out the boost. That's how critical the boost is here on the Sierra. Nothing he can do, and he's all over just trying to put the power back down. And this is what we're going to see a lot of tonight. The differences in the cars really coming on strong here. You've got the Mercedes and the BMW, which will be especially strong on the brakes. And then the Sierras, which are going to fly in a straight line, but getting the pace out of these slow speed corners, getting the turbo spooled up is what it's all going to be about. A little bit of clutch work. Not quite sure you can run a short enough first gear here to actually take advantage of running a gearbox that short when you have a long straight such as this. Let's see how much he can reel in the M3 and the 190 in front. But again, he's only going to have to be early on the brakes compared to them. So let's watch here then from Town Hall Corner as you see the Alfa Romeos come through, as well as a new entry, Panagiotis Mazarakis, also known as Mazza. Seems to be running one of the Valier Motorsports Alexander Bergstaller Tic Tac livery. Very smart car. Once again, he's pulling over to the middle of the track to avoid the bump. Brake disc glowing. 2 minutes of warm-up left now. So I have two sets of qualifying results for you. One that has the names and one that has the times due to a few drivers setting times, then being unable to attend. So I'll do my best to run through that as much as possible on the grid. But on pole is Mark Oros in the 190E. He's set a 24.6. It's pretty close after that. Highest placed Sierra is Happy Coyote, but he's down in 16th. The race winner from last week. 2.5 seconds off of pole. Really struggling in the Sierra. But we should see the Nissans go a bit quicker around here. We've got another new entrant, which is NEC R888 in the R31. Done a fair few laps, and he is only 1.6 seconds off in 9th. The fastest R31 that's going to be on the grid this week. Jaden did out-qualify him, but no Jaden this time around, as Mazza makes contact with the wall. Good to get it out of your system now and not do it in the race. Second place sitter, Chikopoko Henreko in the Jägermeister M3. See what he does on his line down into this corner. He's staying over to the right, embracing the bump, and as soon as the car settles, he's slamming it down the gearbox. Every bit of engine braking he can find there. Very nice, tight line. It's one of the SG Stern cars is in the wall up ahead. That may be Christoph Muers. Lots of opposite lock on exit. So you come into the Dunlop Bridge. Final section of the track, the double apex right-hander, then flick it over to the left and carry it as you get the compression on exit, which plants the car into the corner. Poco's not going to go quicker that time around. Again, SG Stern car in the wall ahead, and that's going to allow Poco down the inside. Let's have a look at Bobby Vakinov. Currently, no, the second fastest Alfa Romeo in warm-up here. Attila Dinner has gone 5th fastest. currently, well, now over 8 tenths off, over a second off pole, or I should say pole position in warm-up, which is Adam Salarak in the Commodore. He's gone with a 25.7, so currently the strongest in warm-up. Great shot coming out of the chicane there. Of course, Adam last week made a mistake on the first lap at the Nürburgring. Wow, he's really pushing the car hard there. Don't want to be doing that in the race. So Christoph Muse, he qualified, according to my sheet, 22nd, but that should be around that position. That time was a 1:27.4. But let's run over the grid then. Mark Oros is your pole sitter. He's in the Simruiner 190E. Set a time of 1:24.263. 213 laps in qualifying. Quite a good time there. Just 3 tenths off the back of him is Jopoko Henreko, second fastest in warm-up, and also qualified second in his BMW M3 E30. Adam Sarlak, fastest in warm-up. He's in third place with a 24.88. Then it's Ayrton Titos, who's done quite well. Another Simruiner car, the number 46 with the pink highlights. He's set a 25 flat, but that's still 7.5 tenths off of pole from Mark Oros. Then rounding out your top 5 is Attila Dinner. Then the number 27 Alfa Romeo, remember multiple esports champion, the Jolly Club team member, doing a great job to get that Alfa Romeo up into 5th. Next is Nat Stevenson for the Alfa Romeos. He's in 8th on a 25.81. Then it's Valentin Knitschel on a 26.1, down in 12th for the Alfa Romeos. Then after that, it will be Rolf Biber in 24th place. He set a 28.0. I wonder if we're going to have... We luckily have 5 minutes till the race start, but I believe it's... Nope, okay, this time we have moved over to the grid, so that is wonderful. So let's get back to the list then. This is your grid for round 4 at Wellington. 29 cars on the grid this time around, so not quite up there with the first 3 rounds, but it's still going to be a great race. A very tight, twisty track that really requires a lot of concentration. Get as close to the barriers as possible and maximise those exits to carry as much momentum without clipping a wall, because one tiny clip can really, really upset the car. So, as stated, Mark Oros, Simruiner, the number 45, he is currently, or he is on pole with a 24.26. Then we have Jopoko Henreko, let's get this camera a little bit closer, in the number 19 M3. Adam Salarek in 3rd place, Sideheart Motorsports. Then it's Ayrton Titos, another Simruiner car. Attila Dinner. Then Adam Keefe, the second of the Holdens, the iconic Castrol Bathurst livery, the 2's 1000 car. After that, Nat Stevenson, doing a great job in the Dayco Selenia car. Awesome livery, that one, to the later 155s that ran in DTM. Great to see. Neck on debut in the Calsonic R31, a Toge specialist, new to round 4, debuting in the championship, doing a great job on a 25.8 to put his car in the top 10. After that, Bob Ivakinov, the number 36 car. Alfa Romeo, again, doing a great job. Then it's Alfie Bevan in his 2nd round of TTM, debuted last time out at Nürburgring, doing a very solid showing. Top 10. Great showing again from him. Valentin Knitschel, long-time THRacing driver. He lines up 12th, or 11th, I should say, after the dropouts. That is on a 126.1, so it's very, very close at this part of the grid. Jaroslav Cerny, reigning champion, he's also on a 126.1. Then it's Akira in the Audi. Great to see him. He's no longer the sole Audi. We have one more on the grid, another debutant as well this week. After that, it is Sideheart Motorsports Samu, or Jordi Samoy, with a 26.5. No, Jordi Samoy is after that. I do apologise. I think we've got a little bit of grid not quite lining up here. This is the new Audi. This is Dan van der Stucken, the number 93 car. Awesome livery, Belgian colours on this one. He's qualified in 25th place on a 28.622. Going back to where we should be, this is Happy Coyote in the number 77, race winner last time out. Not quite getting to grips with the Sierra here. A lot of work you've got to do on that clutch and the gearbox to make the most of the turbo. And to keep that gearbox alive for an hour is going to be a struggle. But he is the highest placed Sierra RS500, so let's not forget that. Next up's FMG, long-time runner of the R31 this season, and not quite getting the car where he wants to be. He's in 17th place on a 26.7, and debutant Neckar 888, he was on a 25.8, so got a bit of time there to find, as we've got just over a minute left. There's Maju's in the pit lane in the Everlast Commodore. Then this is D. Weller, again an M3, qualified in 18th place. I believe our live timing is slightly off. Pitman again in the pits, no pun intended. Florian Mass, bigger is better on that Sierra. Again, as tricky track for the Sierra this one. He qualified on a 26.8, not far off where Happy Coyote was on a 26.7, so really, really tight part of the grid this. Another debutant, Mazza in the Tic Tac M3. Great to see him running in this series. He ran a 27 flat. Jaden, not in the race. Christoph Muez, Max Solmier, Rolf Biber, Will Pfizer, and Nico Bonifon round off the grid. So we have 20 seconds, 15 seconds now until lights go out. Let's see what happens here into turn one. A very tight hairpin, a very tightly packed grid too. Let's see who can go off the line best. Keep an eye on Akira in the four-wheel drive Audi in 13th place. What can he do? A great start. Oh, a lot of checking up. Cars running wide. Japopo Himreko takes the lead into the first hairpin as we have cars sideways, a lot of rear tapping. One of the Alphas, Florian Mass in the background, also having issues. Alfie Bevan's caught up with a Simru and a car sideways. Everyone seems to be getting through. No, they're not. We've got an Alfa Romeo upside down. But Japoco Himreko gets through, takes the lead, followed by Mark Oros with Adam Serelek hot on the heels. Can he take advantage of the power of the Holden? It looks like he can. He's going to bring the car over to the middle of the track. Holds on, but he's outbrakes himself massively, and that's allowed Mark Oros to go through. Look at that, that's Neck 888R. He's up into third place on debut. Jaroslav Cerny in fourth. Jordi Samoy. Akira's had a great start. He is up to seventh. Alfie Bevan down to ninth place as the rest of the pack follows on through. There's the rolled over Alpha. Looks to have got through okay. Happy Coyote though, he seems to be back in pits. Nat Stevenson's also had a terrible start. What about race leader? He is well up the road now, 1.1 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. Neck 888R in third. Then Jaroslav Cerny. Jordi Samoy's had a brilliant start alongside Akira. Unfortunately, Adams dropped quite a way down. Dan is very sideways too. The bigger is better Sierra as the rest of the pack flies through. As for some reason we have cars sideways here. Not quite sure what's going on with that. As Neck 888R takes the lead. I was told I wouldn't have to go back to pits, but that seems like it may be the case as we watch the pack go through the grid. All cars very sideways. Can the Audi be saved? No, it can't. Florian Mass has spun it as well. Terrible through the first sector. What about Mark Oros? He's all over the rear. Jaroslav Cerny up to second place. Hard on the brakes, not much he can do there. Again, what about Alfie Bevan? He's in 9th, 1.8 seconds off of Adam Celerek in front. Got to recover up a few places after braking very deep into the Townhill corner. So that's a great camera angle. Let's watch him all fly out through here. Alfie's got a very battered BMW. A lot of damage on the front of that one and on the back too. That all stems down to the lap 1 dramas at the first corner. See if Adam Celerek and Akira in front as the battle for 7th place. Has that Holden got the extra power over the Audi? But the Audi's got the 4-wheel drive system. Akira's going a little bit defensive. Brings the car back over, slides it beautifully through the first corner as we've got a 190E very sideways. I think that's Mark Oros. Adam Celerek goes for the dive down the inside, makes contact with Akira. Akira's not going to like that one, but concedes the place into the chicane. Alfie's very sideways on entry there. What about Mark Oros? Has he got a run on Jaroslav Cerny? Does not look like it at this stage. Unfortunately not for the Simbruna driver. Neck 888R leading on debut in the R31. As Bobby Vakinov in the Alfa Romeo. Not looking too shabby either. Currently running in 6th place. Fastest lap of the race so far. On a 27.4. So Jordi Samoy currently fastest in Sector 2 of anyone in 4th place in the M3. But he's got Ayrton Titos right behind him, hot on his heels. Mark Oros as well, he's very close to Jaroslav Cerny at the front of the pack. The 190 in the M3, very, very competitive round here as they slam on the ABS into the first corner. Jordi hugs the inside. Adam Celerek's looking for a gap, but there isn't one there. Akira and Alfie Bevan also battling. Akira making the most of that 4-wheel drive system. Let's hop on board with Alfie Bevan as they go through the chicane, but he's got a massive Audi in the way. Not much he can do as the Audi's going to drive off as they head into Town Hall Corner. Bobby Vakinov as well as Ayrton Titos side by side. Car going to struggle to go too wide through here. Contact again, and he chops the nose off on exit, and that's allowed Adam Celerek to get through and pull side by side, but he's going to be on the outside with that big bump. Doesn't want to be there. Makes contact, and it looks like Ayrton Titos is trying to go down the inside again. Can't do anything with that. As we hop on board, Alfie Bevan's also looking for a gap down the inside. It's all going on here at Wellington. Adam Celerek, he's running slightly wide. Now he's got a 190E trying to go down the inside. Not much he can do there either. And Adam in the Holden really putting on a good show. Trying to make up a few positions, and that is Bobby in the barrier. Managed to save it very, very well. But unfortunately has to concede the position to Adam Celerek. As now Jordi Samoy has got a different car on his rear bumper. The very powerful Holden's going to pull alongside down the straight and get the position heading into turn 1. Flames spitting from the sides. They go 3 wide now into the hairpin. Simbruna trying to look for the inside. Jordi has to run out wide, but he should get the better exit now. Looking in the rearview mirror, let's hop on board with Akira. He's in a sandwich as one of the Alphas very much in front. Gets a tap from Alfie Bevan behind as well. Helps him on exit, but doesn't have the power of that turbo Alfa Romeo in front. Does he have the power to get into the Mercedes? He does not, nor have the brakes either. Adam, a little bit of a lock-up in the Holden up ahead as they file through single file the Town Hall corner. What about Rolf Biber? He's down in 16th, but he is battling with Max Solmia, as well as Mazza on debut battling for 15th. We see some very battered cars. Japoko Himreko smashed windscreen on that M3, as well as the bonnet popped. No good for him. But Japoko, he set the fastest first sector of anyone, a 20.3, so we'll keep an eye. Wheels locking. in front from Rolf Biber in the Alfa Romeo. What about Ayrton Titos? He's now all over the rear of Jordi Samoy in the Pepsi M3. 0.3 of a second. Adam Celerek fastest in Sector 2 of anyone. And he goes fastest in Sector 3 as well with a 39.3 in the third sector. That is 3 seconds faster than Mark Oros, the car ahead of him, as he gets the fastest lap of the race with a 26.3. That's some rapid pace as Alfie Bevans managed to get the exit and goes too wide through the chicane and gets the place on Akira. But now Akira's got to worry about FMG in the R31 Skyline, and Alfie probably has to worry about Akira too, who's got more grunt in that V8 Audi. Is he going to pull to the inside? FMG is. He's very late on the brakes. Manages to just about get it stopped and not run into the back of Alfie Bevan. A great exit from the corner as he powers down into Schaefer Street corner. Alfie running all the way over to the right hand side, taking the bump. Managing to keep that car planted. A little bit of tweaks with the dampers should be able to sort that out. We see Ayrton Titos again close to Jordi Samoy, but Bobby Vakinov is even closer. It's a battle for 5th. We'll get some lap times for you as they come through the timing line this time around. Neck RAAR. He set a 20... Oh, as that is Jordi, he's out wide and he's lost 2 place to Bobby Vakinov as well as Ayrton Titos. Didn't see if there was contact there, but this is playing very well into the hands of Alfie Bevan, who has got another M3 in front of him, so he's going to know what machinery to deal with. He swings the car out extremely wide and manages again to get underneath someone, but not quite alongside as they head into the chicane, so he can't pull off that move again. Brake disc glowing. Last time round it was a 27 flat from Neck RAAR in the lead. It was a 27.7 from Jaroslav Cerny. Mark Oros did a 26.9. 26 flat from Adam Saralak. He is going even quicker. And again, another fastest lap of the race. Ayrton Titos in 5th. He's on a 27.8. Then a 27.6 from Bobby Vakinov. 29 flat, but obviously we saw the mistake coming out of the last corner there from Jordi Samoy. Alfie's looking, but Jordi in front goes defensive. The Sideheart Motorsport driver. Alfie heavy on the brakes there. Doing what he can. Dancing with the pedals to get the rotation of the car. Trying to see where this E30 goes strong, but I think we're going to have to go to the battle for second, as Jaroslav Cerny has got Mark Oros and Adam Sarlarak all over the rear of him. Adam is on a charge at the moment. Hasn't quite gone as quick, but he's set a personal best in the first sector this time round. And once again, he goes... Ooh, almost have some run around the outside. Adam's going to look for the inside, almost make contact, but gets the car stopped beautifully, and that's going to put him side by side now with the Simbruna 190E. Can he go around the outside? That's going to give him the inside for the next one. Look how much time they've lost to Jaroslav Cerny from doing that, though, as Adam Celerek is going to get the position, but I reckon if he waited for the straight, powered through, you can see the hazard lights on there from Mark Oros. Probably not too happy. The flash of the lights as well, with all the time now that they've lost to Jaroslav Cerny in front, when Adam could have just powered by in a straight line, but he made it bold, again staying over to the left hand side of the track to avoid the bump under braking. Mustn't have got that Commodore too happy. Of course, it's a much bigger, heavier car without ABS, so maybe it's more consistent for him to do that line. Let's head to Mazda on race debut. Wow, as Jaboko Himreko goes down the inside of Dan van der Stukken. Beautiful Stella Artois Belgian liveried Audi for the Belgian driver. 2 cockpit racing simulation veterans as Mazda goes to the inside. They're getting their taste of touring car racing again, but this time at THR. In the 2025 Touring Wagon Meisterschaft. Can Mazda get down the inside this time? Almost. Jan's trying to hold it around the outside. Manages to stay onto the place for a little bit longer. Adam Celerek, again the car on the move. He's closed the gap down to half a second. Fastest final sector of anyone. Ran a almost identical time. He's in the wall. May have got a bit of damage from that. Hopefully not suspension. But he ran an identical time to Jaroslav Cerny, the car in front. He's looking for the inside, showing his nose, but can't get it done. Of course, we saw the mistake. Well, not really a mistake, but going side by side with Mark Oros. And he still managed to pull the lap time for the rest of it, so I think it's only a matter of time. Is he going to be able to outbrake the M3? No, he's not. Dives back behind. Again, still all over the rear end of the M3. It's just setting himself up for the best run he can down the straight to get hold of the second place and then be in hot pursuit of next THR, who's in the lead in the R31 Skyline. 4 seconds up the road, but we know Adam has the pace to go 2 seconds a lap faster. Is that a mistake from Mark Oros? He's in the wall. Where's Ayrton Titos? Mark manages to get out of the way. Bobby Vakinov goes through as well, and that's a couple spaces dropped. Adam unable to get ahead of Jaroslav this time around. No outbraking that E30. Really thrown off the rear end. What can Alfie Bevan do? Was that contact with Jordi Samoy? I'm not 100% sure, but Alfie's now got FMG all over the rear end. If it was, I reckon it must be as Alfie's let him go back through, but he's also lost the position to FMG now. What about Adam Saralek? He's pulled alongside. He's on the outside. Can't get the move done there. He's just got to set his lap up for the optimal exits onto these long straights. He's going to be on the line he doesn't want to be on. He's going to have to deal with that bump. He does decide to deal with it, but he locks up the front wheel. Don't want to put a flat spot in it there. He's really looking all over the rear end of this E30. Anywhere to try and find some sort of gap. Somewhere he can pressure Jaroslav. But Yaroslav's really squaring up his exits nicely. Banging off the rev limiter. So much torque in the V8 of this Commodore. He's really doing anything he can to put Jaroslav off. He's got him slightly offline, but I think he's going to be able to pull it back. A good exit from Jaroslav in front, but is he going to be enough to hold off the power of that Holden Commodore, the Sideheart Motorsport machine? They both pull to the left-hand side. He's not going to be able to outbrake him into turn one this time. The Northern Hairpin, he's very sideways. Dump the clutch and kick it. Let's get it going. He's lost a lot of time there. What about the rest of the pack? Jordi Samoy might have made another mistake as he seems to have dropped out. That's put Alfie Bevan and FMG up to 7th and 8th place. Akira in the Audi flying through. Jordi's now in 10th ahead of Attila Dinner. We see Samu in the E30 as well as Japoko Imreko in 14th place in a very, very battered E30. Bobby Vakinov, a silent race for him. He's running 5th, doing a great job. But Neck THR, he's gone fastest in the second sector, sorry, with a 26 flat. He's up the pace. Last time round he was a 27 flat. Then Jaroslav Cerny was a 27.9 and a 27.7 from Adam Saralek. It was only Ayrton Titos and Bobby Vakinov last time round in the 26s. That is a lie. We've got Japopo Himreko in 14th. He managed to drop a 26.9 last time round, 26.8 last time round. Very intense racing here as Adam's now back only 0.3 off of the second place driver. Again, looking to try and get the exit, but the BMW can get on the power sooner. A great shot on the exit. Let's hop on board. I think he's close enough for a run here. Jaroslav Cerny goes to the inside, but not inside enough. They are side by side in the braking zone. That was great driving from Jaroslav Cerny to chop the nose off. Hail Mary on the brakes, manages to get the car stopped and defends again from Adam Saralek, who hugs over to the left-hand side to avoid the bump. The ABS on the BMW keeping that absolutely planted under braking. And Adam's got to wait a whole nother half a lap to give this another go. I don't think there's anywhere around this part of the track he can really get too involved with that M3 in front. Again, we saw yesterday in the TTM race how difficult overtaking was around here. Adam's really trying to put Yaroslav off in front, but of course Yaroslav is the reigning champion of TTM from 2024. He hasn't quite got the exit. A flash of lights from Adam, not too happy there. Let's see where they end up into the first corner. As contact's made, it was only inevitable. Yaroslav keeps the place, but Adam is not going to be happy with that whatsoever. As FMG's very sideways, having to defend from Alfie Bevan, who's now looking to go around the outside, but that's never going to work. Can he get on the power soon enough? No, he can't deal with the turbo power of the R31. But FMG's slightly offline. Alfie's looking for the exit, but he hasn't got the power. The Suntory R31 Skyline just drives away in a straight line. Flat shifting from Alfie. You hear him banging off the rev limiters. That looks like a lot of heavy braking from FMG. Managed to get the car stopped though. As Akira, he's still running in the top 10. One to take note of, it's taken him a few rounds to get up to speed in the Audi, but he's doing very well here. Putting the four-wheel drive system to good use. One of two Audis on the grid. Second is 17th place, which is Dan van der Stucken in the Belgian livery. Or is the Suntory Skyline slightly offline. Alfie's all over the rear end here. Adam, of course, he's only 3/10 off of the back of Yaroslav, but he's dropped back down to 5 now. Let's see what Alfie can do through this section here. Drops it down a gear, chucks it in nicely. Another one to get the rotation, a little bit too much. And the Skyline holds on for another lap. See, Adam was all over the rear end there of Yaroslav Cerny as Akira is very sideways, but look at that Audi go. The four-wheel drive system saving him once again. Manages to carry the speed round. Adam Celerek, he's going for the inside this time, but he hasn't got the brakes. He's almost locked the rear axle, but manages to get it stopped. Disc glowing on the Holden. A bit of opposite lock just to glide the car through the corner. And all of this battling is allowing Ayrton Titos and Mark Oros to catch back up. And all it's doing is allowing NEC R888 in the lead to get in front. But Yaroslav Cerny doing everything he can to hold Adam Celerek off in this Holden. A flash of the lights again, just letting him know that he's there. Very, very close this time. Let's see if he can get... Oh, he's offline. He's offline. Manages to gather it up okay. And he is going to get a decent exit as well, but that's dropped him off even more time that he's really struggling to find. That's a lot of locking on the rear axle. And all this has now done is really brought the two Simbruiner 190Es back into the fight. FMG's very, very sideways again. Alfie Bevan trying to get back involved in this battle. He's dropped a little bit off. Adam Celerek, what's he going to do this time into the Town Hall corner? He goes to the outside, but he cannot outbrake the E30. He's trying, the rear axle's locking, but he gets it down the gearbox to keep it going. Very tidy on exit. Marco Ross set fastest lap with a 26 flat last time around, a second faster than these two battling away. And all that's doing is allowing NEC R888 in the R31 on debut, don't forget, to keep in the lead of this race with 38 minutes to go. That was brave from Adam Celerek, and that is a taken out Yaroslav Cerny. That is not going to go down well, and he gets clipped by one of the Simbruiner cars. Manages to get it up and going. Bobby Vakinov behind. He can't take advantage, he tries to, but that is not A great move from Adam. He really went for a gap that wasn't quite there, but that's now unleashed him to try and catch onto Neckar 888 in the lead. He's got 8.5 seconds to try and find, and Bobby Vakinov gets up a place. His FMG very, very sideways on exit. So's Alfie Bevan. Completely blows the braking spot as we see one of the Pepsi M3s going down the inside at turn 1-2. How much quicker is the E30 through the chicane? Quite a bit, and he's got the exit speed, but the R31 is absolutely gone. Jaroslav Cerny again will not be happy about that one. Adam Celerek really on a rampage this race. What about Nat Stevenson down in 20th? He is right on the rear bumper of Rolf Biber, the two Alfa Romeos. With Dan van der Stucken on debut, 17th place in the second Audi on the grid. Oh, that's contact. Rolf Biber goes down the inside of Dan van der Stucken, who then has to reverse. And that's led a lot of people through. Christoph Muse in the SG Stern 190E. He's managed to take advantage of that as well. But that is just turn 1 at Wellington. Valentin Knitschel in the Jolly Club Alfa Romeo. He's chasing down another Sidehart driver, Samu 0322, and gets a great run and uses the turbo power to get ahead into the Dunlop Bridge corner. And he should be able to get the exit out of there too. Neckar 888 now 9 seconds in the lead, so the 27.6 last time. Mark Oros in second place set a 27.6. As that's contact with a wall, can the M3 get back down the inside? Yes, it can. Sammy retakes the position using the ABS advantage on that M3. There's not much Valentin can do here, but what about the exit? Let's hop on board. Is he going to have the power? It very much looks like it. Is Samu going to go defensive? No, he stays to the outside. Does he have the brake pedal to try and get back on the Alpha? He's looking to go for the outside, but cannot get it done. Valentin gets the car stopped, parks it mid-corner, but has to let out of the throttle. Is that going to allow Samu to make any sort of advantage? Doesn't look like it. A little bit of inside locking there from Valentin, but gets the car down to the apex okay. So it's almost a chrome loop. Oh, look at the checking up from Valentin. He knows how to park the car on the apex. To just punch the power on the exit and drive away from that M3, but he looks to have overcooked it slightly into the corner, but he's got the power in the Alfa Romeo, the little turbocharged engine, to get ahead, carrying some great speed through there. Dab of the brakes to get the rotation, and he is off down the home straight. Alfie Bevan's up to 7th place. He's managed to clear FMG now, so maybe a mistake again. We saw a lot from FMG running out wide at turn 1. And that's Alfie now in quite a good position behind reigning champion from last year, Jaroslav Cerny. Adam Celerek, though, in the Holden. He's again on the back of someone. Hopefully trends do not repeat themselves from this race so far. The Sidehart Motorsports Commodore Nelts again fighting for second place, but instead of Jaroslav Cerny in front, it's Mark Oros in the 190E. So, one to note is Attila Dinner this time round in 10th place, the esports champion from back in 2019. He set the fastest Sector 2 of anyone. He's actually going quite well at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on him on the live timing. Is Adam going to have the run here? He definitely won't have the brakes on the Mercedes. As he locks the rear axle again, he's really pushing hard, and that is an aggressive move. That is very, very bold. And he's still going to try and battle for the place. I think a lot of drivers are going to have stern words of Adam after this race. That was a very, very aggressive move. Didn't quite pay off. Hop on board. He's got the power, but he isn't going to have the brakes. And I think Mark knows that, which is why he hasn't gone defensive, We've got one of the backmarker Alfa Romeos in front. I believe that's Rolf Biber. As Neckar 888 is now still 8.5 seconds up the road. Going to the inside to avoid the bump. Really, really bouncy on the entry. Very aggressive driving from Adam, and he clips the inside wall. That's not going to do him any favours whatsoever. How is Rolf going to get out of the way here, though? That is the problem. It's a very tight part of the track, and this may check Mark Oros up into the back of... No, he doesn't. Bobby gets a... Rolf Biber, sorry. Very tidy getting out of the way there to let the faster cars go through. And that's going to be a half-decent exit from Adam. But not quite sure he's going to be close enough. But we saw how far back he was last time around. Let's hop on board and see what he does. He's very sideways and he is not going to get that car stopped. Or is he? He's still on the inside. Really making some bold moves. There's getting the car stopped, but there's also trying to get it off the corner as Alfie Bevan is having to deal with Jaroslav Cerny here as they make contact. Jaroslav's car is looking very, very battered. But he holds onto the place for the time being as FMG gets through one of the backmarker M3s. That would be Nico Bonifon. See what Alfie can do. He's late on the brakes. He almost taps. He's stamping on that pedal, leaning into everything it's got on the ABS to get that car stopped. But no place to outbrake the identical machinery in front of him. Again, Alfie running a different line. He's going out wider, which should get him a better exit. And what a move! If he can pull that off, Alfie almost. I appreciate the optimism. A very similar thing was attempted in TCTM yesterday and couldn't quite pull it off. So glad to know I'm not the only one. Alfie really doing what he can to get himself into the top 5. It's Bobby backing off ahead as Adam Saralek looks to have made a mistake. He's dropped back behind Ayrton Titos as he pulls into the pit lane. So is he going to repair some damage he's picked up? What about Alfie then? Let's run over a quick run over of the grid. Your race leader on debut, Neckar 888 in the R31 Skyline. Then it's Mark Oros, Simruiner Racing Team. Ayrton Titos again, a Simruiner car. Then Bobby Vakinov in the Alfa Romeo. Jaroslav Cerny, the #1 BMW M3, being taken out by Adam Celerek early on in the race, has got a lot of recovery drive to do, especially with Alfie Bevan and FMG hot on his heels. Akira in 8th place, doing a great job in the Audi. It's going to be the best finish for him this season if he can hold it up for the next half an hour. Jordi Samoy, shout out to Nick Wu, if you know, you know. Then he's in 10th place with Jopoko Himreko, again a driver early on in a collision. He's down in 11th, but setting very, very good times with a 26.4 last time, a second and a half quicker. As we see Adam come out of the pits there, down in 16th place. The SG Stern 190E there of Christoph Muse, the last car to be lapped, as here is your race leader, Neck 888R. In the Calsonic R31 Skyline, iconic livery on the R32, also ran the R31. Very late entry, the number 92, and impressing on debut. One to note is he comes from a Toge background, so running mountain roads of the such, and that's doing him some quite good favours here at the street circuit. What about Alfie Bevan? 0.1 of a second off of Jaroslav Cerny. This battle is still getting hotter. Alfie's got quite a good exit, I think, but Jaroslav pulling away now. Mark Oros making good progress, half a second quicker than Neckar 888 in the lead at the moment. And he's still got 28 minutes to reel that gap in, so within half a second, a lap, he would be there in approximately 12 to 13 laps, which we should still have. Alfie very hard on the brakes. He's got Jaroslav on the defensive. Jaroslav parks it. Alfie's trying to go around the outside. Nowhere to go there. There's a gap on the inside, but Yaroslav chucks his car to the inside. Can't make advantage of that either. And all this is doing is allowing FMG in the R31 to get even closer. We have a backmarker Audi on the inside. That's Dan van der Stukken. And that has off-put Yaroslav slightly, but wow, he chops the nose off Alfie there. So we see one of, I think that was Japoko Himreko. That was a very, very late dive into the northern hairpin. And makes contact with Akira. I saw that in the corner of my eye. Clicked on the wrong car, unfortunately, but got there in the end. Grego really trying to make up ground in this race. So that's Rolf Biber letting the Alfa Romeo teammate through in front. Oh, look at that. Japoko goes to the inside. Again, contact. Akira's not going to like that. And that's checked him up massively. And Jordi Samoy tries to go down the inside, and contact is made. Squeezed up against the wall. No gap there. The wide Audi proving itself to be quite a substantial width. And that's Jordi Samoy in the wall, but Akira's ran wide. Can't quite get underneath him. And of course, Akira's got the four-wheel drive system on that Audi to help get him off the corner. Look, he's drifting it around the corner. Plants the throttle and the V8 Quattro powers off of it. Through to the Dunlop Bridge then. As Alfie's only 0.1 now off of Yaroslav, and he goes to the outside. That's very, very late on the brakes there from Alfie. Very, very late indeed, and he kicks the clutch out. He's almost lost the place to FMG, but FMG misses a gear. Here the car banging off of the rev limiter as Japoko Himreko again diving it into the corner, massively in the corner of my eye. But FMG's lost a ton of ground, missing a gear coming out of the hairpin, and of course then he's got no turbo boost when he slams it into the next one. And he seems to have made up a bit of ground with a straight line speed of that Nissan. Marco Ross now only 5.3 seconds off of the race lead with 25 seconds to go. 1.3 seconds quicker than the race leader, Neckar 888 last time around. Alfie's really looking everywhere now to try and put off Yaroslav Cerny in front, looking for the outside, but the problem he's got is FMG is right there now in the R31. Alfie's slightly wide. He's really throwing that Demon Tweaks M3 about. Look how close he was to the barrier on exit. Closest battle on track currently is this for 5th place. How heavy on the brakes is Alfie going to go this time around? He's learnt his lesson from the last lap, but he still gets very close to Yaroslav, who dumps it on exit, gets the power down, and pulls a car length gap. Last time round, fastest lap by Attila Dimmer, 25.7 in the Alfa Romeo. And that's the car behind this group you see here. The Jolly Club Alfa Romeo. Putting in some great times, just 2.2 seconds off of this battle with 24 minutes to go. It's going to be a slightly better exit from Alfie. Cut it into the corner nicely. You see Attila sideways in the background. Alfie's looking for the outside. Is he going to be able to carry the momentum? No, he's not. Nowhere to go here. Yaroslav slightly offline, but the track's so tight, nothing Alfie can do about it. Just 1.6 seconds off the back of FMG now. As FMG's dropped back, he's made a mistake. Great bit of rotation, flicking it over that curb as we hear the turbo flutter of the cars in front. Half a second off the back of Yaroslav now for Alfie Bevan. Only his second round in TTM, fighting against the reigning champion from 2024. Attila Dinner again last time round with a 26.7, a second faster than FMG in front of him. And that gap is closing up. So the gap now under 5 seconds for the lead. Mark Oros in the Simruiner 190E. As Alfie's made a mistake, he's dropped down behind FMG. Must have outbroke himself into the Town Hall corner. He's going to try and hold it, but this has been a massive breather for Jaroslav Cerny, who's been under relentless pressure from Alfie. The Demon Tweaks M3 doing what it can. Is it going to have the power on exit? Yes, it is. The R31's got to get that turbo spooled up. Nowhere to pass here through the Barnet Street chicane. This is now a battle for 6th place. Alfie, of course, familiar with BMWs in sim racing. Beat Colin Turkington on a simulator run many moons ago. British touring car driver. It's a great run through the chicane for Alfie. He's putting the pressure back on. He's down within a second of Jaroslav Cerny in front. But what about Attila Dinner? Is he going to be able to take advantage? Let's hop on board and see the two cars in front. Alfie Bevan defensive, but he should have the ABS and the brakes on that E30 to hold the position. Runs slightly deep. Is FMG going to be able to get the exit? Let's see. Attila Dinner really putting the power down well. Forcing the two cars without ABS over the bumps. Alfie holds the place with the brake disc glowing. And now FMG is in the same place Alfie was, but Alfie's hit the inside wall and he clatters it again, manages to keep it all together, but is he going to have suspension damage? Attila looking for the inside line. If he pulls the move there, that is very brave. Can't quite get it done, and that's put FMG offline. Alfie's got a breather. He's well up the road now, 1.1 seconds clear. Mark Oros down to 4 seconds off the race lead. 7 tenths faster than Neckar 888 last time round, who's leading the race. But Nat Stevenson and Mazza, they're going into the Town Hall corner, making contact, banging doors, true touring car style. Debut for Mazza this time at Wellington in the THR M3. In 17th place. Has the race leader Neckar 888 behind. Let's see what the gap is. There's your race leader. There's a back marker. That's D. Weller. And then there is your second place driver, Mark Oros. Hunting down the leader, just 3.4 seconds now. So next, doing what he can, he's set a personal best first sector, which was 2 tenths quicker than Mark Oros. And they're identical in the second sector, hopping on board. So Attila Dinner and FMG. Very, very close once again. And Alfie's still got that breather of a second as Nat Stevenson has retired from the race. Mark's put himself in a great position, 4 tenths quicker than Neck in the first sector on this lap. Closed the gap down to 3.2. Alfie very out wide on exit, but Japoco Himreko, he's chasing this pack down now. Last time he ran a 26.2 and it was a 27.1 from Attila Dinner, who we're watching now, who may have the power in the Alfa Romeo to pull along. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have the brakes either to do anything about it, but extremely close to FMG. Alfie having to deal with a lot of pressure here. Maybe he's made another mistake. Jopoko Himreko goes fastest of anyone in the first sector with a 20.1. Not quite there in sector 2 though, so maybe pushing as hard as he can to try and get onto the back of this pack, as this is his ticket to 5th place really. So then run again into the northern hairpin. Drivers really pushing it hard. Alfie taking a wide line. FMG almost into the back of him. Jopoko Himreko closing and closing fast. Got the spider web for a windscreen. A little bit of contact with the barrier on exit. A very, very busted car looking at the real timing. Mark Oros again fastest in the first sector, but only by 0.3 over NEC RR 888. There's Attila still all over the rear end of FMG. Tries to go to the inside but makes contact with the wall. Tries to undercut the skyline but crashes into the wall, and that is not going to have done his car any favours. But he goes for the inside anyway. Tries to make a move of it but can't do anything, and this is really helping out Alfie Bevan to clear and run away. Attila not happy. You can see he's stamping on the throttle on exits, and he's looking again into the Barnett Street chicane but cannot get it done this time. 2.7 seconds, 2.2 seconds now. So there may have been a mistake. Yes, there must have been. Half a second slower for NEC R 888 in the final sector, as the gap's down to 2 seconds for the lead. Well in front though, but Mark Oros chasing him down. Attila Dinner into turn 1. Can't quite get it stopped. And drops out a turbo boost, has to dump the clutch. But Yaroslav Cerny must have made a mistake. He was half a second slower than Alfie Bevan last time in the final sector, so that's now put Alfie half a second behind Yaroslav, but he doesn't have to worry about anyone behind for the time being. Got 1.5 seconds to them. But Jopoko Himreko again fastest of anyone in the first sector, 20.064. So he's closing in that gap rapidly. 1.8 seconds now to the back of 8th place. Alfie's looking for the inside here, but Yaroslav chucks the car into the corner. He's tried that so many times, and Yaroslav does the same over and over. I understand he's just trying to put him off, but he's got to come up with a new move to try and get ahead of Yaroslav. He's clearly got the pace, but the rest of the pack is catching onto him, catching fast. Again, a little mistake from Alfie. Tap of the wall. The gap now 1.4, 1.2 seconds for the lead. Mark's really doing a cracking job here. Last time round it was a 26.6 for NEC R and a 26.0 for Mark. Another 0.6 taken out of him this time round. Attila Dinner's very sideways. Blimey. Alfie really getting checked up here now. He's looking for the inside and he can't make that move. A dab of the brake starts the car back over as we watch the whole pack go through. Jopoko Himreko's now right on the back of this pack. A battle all the way up to 5th place, down to 9th. NEC R 888 has responded this time, but Attila Dinner's looking for the inside in the Alpha. He's outbraked himself massively, but makes the position stick. How he didn't crash into the back of Alfie though, I'm not sure, but that's someone Alfie's got to worry about, and he's got to worry about him soon, because we've seen the speed of Attila. Currently has the fastest lap of anyone. Alfie's really trying to make that move round the outside stick, but he can't get it done. Anything to carry a little bit more speed on exit. He's looking for the outside, but there's nothing to be done there. Checks up the car to bring it back into the corner, but he can't get the move done. Mark Oros now only 0.8 off of the lead, but NEC R 888, as I was saying before I got rudely interrupted by an amazing move by Attila Dinner, has responded this lap. He's gone 0.3 faster than Mark Oros in the first sector. and he went a tenth quicker in the second sector, but he's lost it again in the third. We've got an SG Stern 190 back marker up ahead. Is that going to play into this at all? Alfie Bevan goes to the outside. He's got a bit of an overlap, but he cannot get the move done. He's looking for the exit. Has he got enough of an overlap? No, he hasn't. And now he's got to worry about the power of that Alfa Romeo from Attila Dinner behind. And here comes Attila. Alfie goes to the inside. He's got to deal with the Alfa Romeo. Is he going to be better on the brakes? He's very, very late, but so is Attila. Alfie holds onto the place. They go too wide through the chicane. Contact mid-corner, and Alfie holds onto the place, but that's allowed Yaroslav to pull 0.8 of a second up the road. Alfie's pushed the Alfa to the outside. He's got to deal with the bumps. Out of braking. Alfie's tried this move enough times. He should know how to defend from it. As there's contact once again. Alfie keeps it out of the wall this time, and he's held onto the place. But FMG now, he's trying to shove his nose in. And again, we've got the SG Stern 190E still in this battle. Got to let Japoko get through. As that was Attila Dinner trying to go down the outside of Alfie. As Alfie makes a mistake, he's in the wall. He's lost it. Almost flipped the car over. He is slightly put off, and he's got to turn that car around ASAP. A nice dip of the clutch to get it going again, but absolute disaster for Alfie Bevan under so much pressure. It was just a slight chink to the inside from Attila Dinner, and that's now unleashed him. The fastest lap holder, Mark Oros, only 0.5 of a second now off of the race lead. Much, much closer by the looks of it on corner exit as well. As we have Nico Bonifon in front. Hopefully he will get out of the way and allow our position 1 and 2 to get through, but it doesn't look like he's doing a particularly swell job of it, as Neck has to go defensive. Almost contact again from THR with Love on the back of his Calsonic Skyline. What can Mark do? We've still got the back marker in front, and that's not doing Neck any favours as they both check up again. Neck's through, but Mark Oros is not. The number 25 car of Nico Bonifon really needs to get out of the way here. And he finally does, but Mark Oros has almost lost 2 seconds that he gained, only 10 minutes to go. And that was not good for Mark Oros's race. What about Attila Dinner? He's closing in now on that 5th place position, and he wants it badly. Look at the gap he's pulled over FMG. And he's going to have much more power than the BMW in front. What can he do into the northern hairpin? He pulls to the inside, he pulls to the outside. He's not going to be able to do that, but he's put the BMW offline, or as they make contact into the wall, he goes to the outside again. FMG, this is going to suit him well. The BMW sideways on exit, but manages to keep the position for now. But we saw how Attila was able to get ahead of Alfie Bevan using the power, but didn't quite have the brakes, but he's a lot closer this time. Yaroslav hugs the inside, makes that line as short as possible. And Attila is on the outside, but Yaroslav's got the brakes. Attila's sideways into the corner. They're banging doors all the way through. Yaroslav needs to hold the inside into this next left-hander at Schaefer's Street. The Alfa's going to have the power, and it's going to pick up now, but the BMW should have the brakes, and he needs to run Attila out wide here. He does. Bit of contact again. He's got to back him up into FMG if he wants to hold on to this position, because Japoko Himreko is now right on the back of this pack, and he's been setting some blinding laps this race. 8 minutes to go. Mark Oros has taken half a second back out of that lead gap down to 1.6. Half a second quicker last time around. Attila should have a great run here. Let's hop on board on the Alfa Romeo. What's he going to do this time? He's pulled to the inside and he's sticking with it. The power of the Alfa Romeo getting him ahead, but the superior brakes of the BMW may have something to say about that into turn 1. Japo, he's looking for the inside as the Yaroslav Cerny. He's trying to hold on to the position, and he kicks the clutch, gets the rear end out, and holds onto it for the time being. But this is all this is allowing is these two guys behind to catch back up. Or is Attila Dinner gonna have the power this time. In the Alfa Romeo, he almost does, but almost gets forced into the wall. The slight chicane there as they cross onto the other side of the road. He looks to the inside, can't get it done, has to go back to the outside. Jaroslav Cerny holds it under brakes with the ABS on that BMW. And now Attila Dinner has got to do it all over again. The gap now only 1 second for the lead. Marco Ross fired up. He's gone 0.6 quicker than Neckar 888 in the first sector, pulling that time straight back in. Calm down slightly, but still a train of cars. Hop on board with Yaroslavs. We see Attila Dinner in the mirror, very, very sideways. Through the rear window, you can see that Alfa Romeo dancing about. Watch the turbo spool as they head down into the first corner. What's Attila going to do this time? Is he close? Is he close enough? He's absolutely sideways on the run into the corner and manages to get it stopped. Yapoko Himreko goes to the inside of FMG. They make contact and FMG is well off out the way. I think Yapoko knew that was a bit off, so he's definitely let off there. And they've now dropped off the back of this pack. But here comes the power of the Alfa Romeo. What's going to happen this time? He goes to the outside. As we have an Audi completely sideways at the Town Hall hairpin. They're side by side. Very, very clean. As Yaroslav again holds on to the place for the time being. There must have been contact between Dan van der Stucken as well as Mazza in the TicTac M3. 0.3 of a second now for the lead. Marco Ross has made back the gap he lost from the back marker. And has got 6 minutes to make a move. Last time around, he was half a second quicker than Neckar 888. Remember, this is Neckar's debut Toge specialist taking his skills onto the streets of Wellington. Mark's put himself in a rather good position here with 5 minutes to go. Got enough laps to come up with a few options, but you see the power of that R31 get ahead. Jaroslav Cerny and Attila Dinner still battling. Yaroslav dumped the clutch again to try and get some sort of kick out of the hairpin. Attila Dinner cuts him off. The Alfa Romeo is sideways out of the corner, doing a great job to hold on to 5th place. What about the leaders then? On to Toop Walk. Into the Barnet Street chicane. Can Sim Ruiner take the victory here? Of course, Marco Ross, runner-up last time out at the Nürburgring, got outdone by the RS500's raw straight line speed. He's slightly offline on exit, manages to hold it up though. Still 4 minutes 40 to go as Adam Salarak in 12th place. After pitting for repairs, he's set the fastest lap of anyone this race for a 25.770. Rather rapid time there for him. Flying through the chicane. Marks dropped off a little bit this lap. Lost 4 tenths in the final sector. But we know how quick he is. It's only going to be a matter of time before he can get back onto that R31 Skyline. Let's hop on board. Has next got a back marker ahead. Looks to be one of the Pepsi M3s. And definitely not doing a particularly prompt job of getting out of the way, and this is going to help Mark out quite a lot. Next, flashing the lights, and he's sideways. He's dumping the power. And that's going to check him up a lot as well through the chicane. Contact with the wall. Got a BMW right in front of him. He's looking for the inside. This has played into Mark's hands massively as there's contact for the lead. Neckar 888 does an amazing job to hold on to that. But unfortunately, the back marker just not getting out of the way soon enough and still not getting out of the way. Of course, we've got Nico Bonifon as well up ahead. Oh, as he drops that turbo boost, the back marker not getting out of the way here. Which is really not helping out Neckar Triple Eight's race at all, but they should have superior power. And this may work in Neckar's favour as Akira in the Audi has retired from the race with just 2 minutes 40 to go. So Nissan pulls alongside. That's very late on the brakes by Mark Oros. He's managed to pull ahead. Very sideways on exit. 2 minutes 29 to go. This is where the Mercedes going to come alive as he's put Neckar offline, and this is going to be Mark's chance to pull alongside. He briefly leads the race, but Neckar's got the inside line. But again, Neckar dumps the clutch to build the turbo boost. They're side by side heading into the Barnet chicane, but he cannot get the position done. I think it's going to come down to the next batch of back markers. We should have 2 laps to go when they cross the line. Mark's got 2 laps to try and find a gap to get it done. He's got to get a good exit here, which he does. Let's hop on board. And he's not going to be a million miles off to show the brakes off on that 190 into turn 1. Neckar flashing the lights once again. What's Mark going to do? He's early on the brakes. I think Neckar's very offline here as he tries to go down the inside of the M3 back marker, but that's really off-put him. Mark's side by side now as they head through the chicane. He's not going to try and hold it around the outside. Neckar's offline. He checks Mark up on exit, but cannot. Mark cannot do anything about the power of that R31 as they make contact and Mark's into the wall. Mark has spun it out. That is absolutely devastating for Mark. Trying to go too wide through the chicane where they switch lanes. And that's almost guaranteed the race there for Neckar Triple Eight. What an amazing race this has been here at Wellington. An absolute disappointment for Sim Ruiner Racing. They're not going to be happy about that one at all. But that's the way of the track, trying to go too wide through there. I know Mark was trying to carry every little bit of speed he could, but he's now got an extremely damaged 190E. He's got a limp to the line. Luckily, it's his teammate Ayrton Titos behind, so we shouldn't have to worry about too much pressure in that regard. But I think the battle now is gonna be for 4th place. Attila Dinner, he's been lapping extremely well, setting best personal sectors, and he went 9 tenths quicker than Bobby Vakinov in the sister Alfa Romeo last time out. So can Attila get up to 4th place? We should have one more lap after this, braking, locking the rear axle and entry to get some rotation, and kicks it off nicely. So we see the oil pressure gauge still showing strong, which is rather good for an Alfa Romeo. Well, I suppose the car in front has equal opportunity to blow up as well. What's going to happen into turn 1? Bobby's slightly offline. Attila's looking for the outside, and he's going to cut it in. But Bobby checks it up nicely on exit. That's what you've got to do in these cars. Of course, equal machinery. So no real advantage. It's all going to come down to driver skill and setup. Attila Dinner completely sideways on exit. Adam Celerek, he's all over the rear end of Valentin Kanichel as they're going side by side, presumably into the old hairpin, as lots of collisions have just appeared on my real timing, so we shall take a look at that when possible. But this is the battle for 4th. Neck AAAR is doing a great job to win this race on debut. Had a lot of luck on his side, but that does not let that take away. Attila's looking for the outside here. Bobby swings it wide. Not what he wants to do. There's contact there into the wall. Elbows out. Bobby's got to launch it back down the inside, which he does. Gives the same attitude back to Attila Dinner. As let's go to Neck then as he crosses the line to win round 4 of the THRacing Tourenwagen Meisterschaft 2025 season. What about Attila Dinner then? Is he going to be able to get back past? No, he's not. Mark Oros brings it home in 2nd place after a brilliant recovery drive. Ayrton Titos rounds out the podium in his Sim Ruiner 190E. That's going to be the 2 Alfa Romeos have a photo finish across the line. Bobby Vakinov holding on to... Well, apparently Attila Dinner has got 4th place, but according to the real timing, it was Bobby Vakinov that held on to 4th place, just 0.1 separating them at the line. Alfie Bevan's going to bring it home in 9th, very sideways across the line. Almost flicked it too early there, Alfie. And Adam Celerek is going to bring it home in 10th position after having to pit for repairs. Japoko Himreko got back up to 8th. FMG finished 7th. Yaroslav Cerny in 6th place. Jordi Samoy 11th. There's the bigger is better Sierra of Florian Mass. Didn't see too much of him this race. Mazza on debut, the Greek driver in the Tic Tac M3, brings home in 14th. Christoph Muez in 15th. Happy Coyote in 16th. Race winner last time out as he crosses the line. Then it's Rolf Biber after that. I believe everyone to be down at the first hairpin, but haven't quite got a camera view of that. There we do. Brilliant drive then from everyone this evening. So make sure to head over to THRacing to get your race report for this one, as well as the updated championship standings. But your race winner on debut is Neck R888 in the R31 Cal Sonic Skyline. Great drive by him, chased by a pair of Simruiner 190Es and a whole bunch of other cars. Thank you very much for tuning into this one. Of course, if you want to get involved, join the THRacing Discord server and get signed up. 2 more rounds to go. Down here, down under. In Australia, we've got Bathurst as well as the Adelaide Street Circuit. So if you like this action, make sure to jump in on Adelaide to get even more of that. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Take care, have a great week, and goodbye.